And there we go.
Welcome to Just One Question with your host, Lion Flood. This podcast is brought to you by the Minority Report, where our goal is to inspire, educate, and empower you with cultural knowledge. We'll also have conversations dealing with social justice, mental health, and the all-around truth. So if you're bold enough to hear the truth, then you're listening to the right podcast. Let's find out what that one question is with your host, Lion Flood.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Just One Question, our podcast dedicated to bringing you some insight, some resources, and information to help you through this journey of thing we call life. That's tough enough, right? Today's guest is someone I'm extremely excited to have with us. We have Dr. Natasha Wright coming on. We're going to talk about several different things. We're going to head in different directions and sprinkle a little bit of information for you. I assure you this is an episode that you want to listen to through continuously. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and bring up Dr. Wright. Ladies and gentlemen, give Dr. Wright a applause. Hey. Hello, Dr. Wright. How are you doing today?
I am well. How are you?
I'm loving it. I'm well. Thank you so much for asking that. I can go ahead and read a bio. I can tell people what I read and what I saw in our conversation before, but I love starting off by letting my guests who are in the seat tell a little bit about themselves first. That way people can get to know you and understand this is someone who I need to listen to and I'm working to trust. So go ahead and let them know a little bit about yourself.
Thanks. As Lion stated, I am Dr. Natasha Wright. I am a therapist and a transformational coach, specifically working with Black women. I work in the area of mental health and transformational coaching, getting people from point A to point B. I am also a mom. I'm an avid book reader. I am a sister. I am a friend. I am a lover of all things Black women and positivity. That is me in short.
I love it. And I'm going to tell you, this is a subject that's dear to my heart because kind of we spoke before. I believe that Black women from our culture are the absolute backbone, right?
Hey,
I
then we
it
friends.
is. I love it because we hear so many
Yeah.
things about how the angry Black woman or this or that, but yet still, I kind of said jokingly, but we don't hear about the crimes that the angry Black woman is supposed to do, right? No, there's a lot of stress that Black women are going through that men, number one, we can't even fathom, we can't even understand. And there's so much strength behind it. Where does that come from? I'm sure it comes a little bit from our ancestors, but where do you think that strength in our Black women come from?
So, this is a very good question because I believe that the strength of Black women comes from, like you said, historically from our ancestors, but for women having to show up in all places and to be all things. And so having to wear multiple hats, having to be the mother, the wife, the caretaker, the sister, if you're in a spiritual community, Black women are there holding things down. But like you said, being that backbone in so many different places, there's a certain level of strength that comes with it. And that, therefore, that manifests in so many different areas of our lives. And I'm not always saying that that strength is always healthy and productive, but that is where it comes from us showing up and trying to be all things to all people.
It is so enlightening and eye
Mhm.
opening when I hear this because as a kid growing up, and you're in a single parent home and
Mhm.
you seeing your mom doing all these things, there are so many people I speak to who said once they become an adult or once they see things differently, they go, you know what? My mom never let us knew that we were struggling or we didn't have or something like that. And that just incorporates that strength that I see in it. And it almost brings back my memory really quick when my wife and I went to go see The Woman King. And we
Oh, yeah.
saw and I might say this wrong, but the Joji, that's what they were called, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, this is based off a true story too, and I can fathom it. But I think with all that pressure and stress you were talking about, and women having to hold it down, it can lead into some of these things that we talk about of mental health. And I think some of it people don't even recognize, right? Because we don't see it. So, some of those battle scars and things aren't shown.
Mm.
It comes out occasionally. What are some things that someone who's listening to this can say, oh, that sounds like something I'm going through? What are some tips or some things that they can look out for that you think that says, hey, here's a sign that you need to come talk to someone like me? Or if you're experiencing this, take a breath and, go from there.
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. Another great question, because there is a persona called strong black woman. And yes, we are strong. Yes, we are black. Yes, we are female. However, though put together creates this persona or superhuman persona that black women can do it all. We can handle it all. If you're ever in trouble, call a black woman. She's gonna get it done. All of those things. And so we then that usually the strong black woman persona is forced upon black women at a very, very young age. And what that looks like is being that nurturer from a very young age. You have to take care of the household, you have to take care of mom and dad and grandma, and if you have brothers and siblings, we are raised and groomed from a very young age to be just that, to be dependable, to be reliable, not to say no, to always extend yourself, always give your last. And that, while the meaning behind it I can see can be good, it actually creates some very unhealthy behaviors for the woman herself. And that would be looking like, if I say no, now I'm weak. I'm not necessarily as strong as people think
Wow.
I am. I'm burnt out, but I can't say that. I'm tired, but I must keep going. I'm not sleeping at night, but I can't tell anybody that. I can't go to the doctors because I'm taking care of the children or the house or the church or grandma, and I'm kind of stuck. So we are taught to put ourselves on the back burner. And so we adopt this superhuman experience, but we're not superhuman. So when we are tired and when we are stressed out, it actually manifests in our body way further than just mental health. It actually manifests in physical health, high blood pressure. Stress is the silent killer. We know this. Any gastrointestinal problems, you have headaches, diabetes, all of these things that we take on actually manifest in our physical body and begins to rot away. But no one teaches us that it's okay to say no. It's okay to put us first. And when we begin to do that, the system behind the strong black woman begins to buck up and say, oh, you change it. Oh, you don't care. You don't care if I'm going through this. And that's not necessarily the case. It's that I care enough about me that I cannot continue to do this at this pace. So instead of centering the community, the family, the children, the job, church, instead of centering everyone else in the middle of my world, I'm now going to remove everybody else and put me right into the center of my world to say, I have to come first. Because if I don't, I'm no good to anybody else.
Whew, listen here. Okay, let me gather myself, right? So you just touched on so many things just now, and was invoking emotions in me. And I just want to
Mm,
touch on a couple of them, right? The self-care thing. It is so absolutely true. And I know it as a black man, for one,
mm,
myself, that we're taught, hey, you scraped your knee. Is it bleeding? Is it blood? No, then get up and let's go. Right. So we're not taught to show emotions. And I think that same thing can kind of go for with black women, as you're speaking of. The nurturing thing, they got to take care of everything, right? Self care. And I equate that to the analogy of the airplane when they tell you if something happens and that
mm.
mask comes down, put it on yourself first. But our
Right.
brain, or the brain of, my black queen, is probably, no, I need to put this on my kid or someone else. But then so it's so tough in that question of saying no, I had to learn that myself, and I know a lot of people do. And jokingly, I will carry, make sure I have this the right way. For the viewers who are seeing this, they can see it. For the listeners,
Mm,
I'm holding up a button that has the word no on it. And jokingly, I
right.
have this on my office desk, and I jokingly do it with my son. But if you press it, it has like 1,000 ways to say no. So, but it is something I think that is so hard for the community because we're told you need to fulfill, you need to do. And even when you don't, I think we feel so much pressure that we have to justify it. Can you take me to the gas station? No,
Hmm.
because I'm out of gas. Or can you take me to the grocery store? No, because I get. And you may not. You just no. I just don't feel like it, right? And so I think that's a big thing, and that could probably lead into like anxiety, don't you? Do you think like I,
Oh,
now
yeah.
like you said, it's hurting you and diabetes and stress and what are some like self-care tips maybe just say hey for example my wife I don't know why but she loves just to go fold laundry. She tells me that's my self-care thing and I'm
Hmm.
like hey babe want me to go fold laundry and help you? Nope, stay away, this is my time. Is
Hmm.
there any
Hmm.
kind of tips or self-care things for someone who's listening to this that you can probably shout out to them?
Absolutely. So self care is like a buzzword nowadays, right? And so it's like self care, self care. When you say it, people think it's going on vacation. People think it's going to the spa and having these elaborate or exuberant plans to pamper yourself. And I am not against it. I love vacation and spas just as much as the next Black woman. But it is unrealistic to think that we can do that every single day. So I suggest a daily self care plan. And what that can look like, if you're a reader, take some time out to read. If, like your wife, if she loves to fold towels, then that's it. It can be taking a bath. It can be taking a walk. It can be exercising. It can be cooking. It's even brushing your teeth and making your appointments on time. What does that look like? When's the last time you've been to the doctor? When's the last time you had a physical? We're talking about women 40 and up, mammograms, all of these different kinds of things. That is self care. And we should really begin to routinize some of it. For me, when I've had a stressful week, yes, I'm a reader, so I love to read. I can walk in Barnes and Nobles and go to like a Home Goods or a Marshalls, and I'm up and down in the towel section feeling towels. And for me, that is such self care where I can put on my headphones, I got my earbuds in, I'm not talking to anybody, and I'm clearly in my world just jamming, just decompressing from the day. I don't necessarily need to talk to anyone. However, if someone finds self care in getting on the phone with a loved one and catching up, where a loved one that you don't feel drained talking to afterwards, that you could, that the relationship is reciprocal. They're not asking for nothing, you're not asking for nothing, you're just having great good conversation, and making sure that all of these things are built in little by little each and every day, that a small part of your 24-hour segment of the day belongs to you in whatever capacity that is.
I absolutely love doing this, and this is one of the main reasons why is because
Mhm.
this knowledge is power, it's information,
Yeah,
right? My wife and I
that's right.
jokingly talk with each other and say, I wish we had podcasts years ago when we were coming up because the ease and access to information is
Oh,
easier
yeah.
now than when we were using it and we were coming up. But the key is you have to use it. There is someone that's sitting in a car right now who's contemplating going into work. They're getting out of their vehicle and like, oh, another day because I had last night was so tough, and they could possibly hear a word that you're saying right now, and it can make them say, you know what, I need coaching, I need someone to
Mm,
assist me. One of the things that I always say is because we say it takes a village to raise a kid. I've heard that many times. I
yes.
and correct me if I'm wrong here or adjust it. I believe also that we need a village within our adult friends. We need the
Oh, absolutely.
true friends that, like you said, they're not going to drain you. They're not calling you just because they need something, right? But
Mhm.
what are some what are your thoughts on hey, I need to get an inner circle that I can count on as a lady, whether it's in a church, whether it's in a community center or any other resources? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, for me, 100%. I'm all in for community. The transformation and that occurs among community. We don't transform in silos and in secret and when we're alone. Transformation comes in community. We are relational creatures. So we thrive better in community. And when you have a healthy community that you can go to, that's loving on you, that is positive, that's affirming you, that there's a healthy exchange, and you don't need 40 and 50 people around you. If you can get two or three good people around you where the love and attention and affection is reciprocal, you can change your entire life and outlook just by having community. I suggest finding a good group of women to get with that are positive and that are seeking some of the same things that you are seeking and heading in the same direction. It will be life changing.
That is so true because I know one thing that I started to work on that helped me in my journey of becoming a better person, a better man, a better father, everything, right? Is I seeked out some knowledge that I didn't have. I went and
Yeah.
found some people who were doing better than me. I started hanging around
Mm-hmm.
people who were doing better than me, who where I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to go. Not every weekend we're talking about just going to this club, that club, right? And the title you have, transformational coach, if you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, I want different,
Yes.
what you're basically saying is, I want to transform. I want to transform into
Mm-hmm.
something different, a vision I have. And you need a coach. This is my opinion because it's just like in sports. You don't understand how to play basketball, football, you want to get on the field, but you have to have a coach to kind of guide you, tell you where the play is supposed to go, how to work as a team. So for someone who's listening, the advantages of having a coach like you is immense. What do you
Absolutely.
say to that? What do you tell someone of why they should, maybe reach out to you and find you in some way? What are your thoughts on that?
So I say that mentorship and coaching adds acceleration because I've been there. You don't have to waste, 5, 10, 7 years or whatever trying to figure your way out. And when I'm saying I've got the key, I've got the plan. And if you partner with me, I can show you the play to run, and all you got to do is run the play. I think you gave such a great example. Like there's gift, and then there's coaching that goes along with it. We can have a natural gift to say, I want to do X, Y, and Z. Let's take Serena and Venus Williams. They had a gift to play tennis, yet they needed a coach in order to show them the way and then to accelerate that and introduce. And that's what coaching does. It's a partnership of mentoring and coaching equals acceleration. So you're not wasting time to get where you gotta go.
It is right there in the face, right? The coach is running the plays, kind of guiding you and accelerating you. Is
Mhm.
because we're not given a manual for life. For
That's right.
here's step one, here's step two, and so forth. And so we start doing things thinking, okay, I got this, but we could be doing the wrong thing over and over again, right? And to use someone's knowledge who has been through it and say, you might want to cut that step out. Now,
Mhm.
you can still do the step and learn the hard way, but
Right.
having that guidance can bring so much strength and so much exuberance towards working you those little small goals. A little small thing that I do, for example, for myself, what I didn't do is I used to celebrate. Well, I did not used to, but now I celebrate almost every achievement. I don't care if it's me just, for example, getting 100 new listeners. I'm telling
Hmm.
you, and I got this one time because I was listening to a comment that Steve Harvey said. And he said he would post pictures of his trips and everywhere that he and his wife and family would go. And someone said to him once, hey, man, you should stop doing that because it's making you look like you're boasting and you're bragging. And he
Hmm.
stopped for a while and then he started back up because he said, you know what? No, I'm doing this because I'm motivating someone. I'm someone seeing
Right.
me and saying, wow, I want to do a trip like that. If
Hmm.
someone feels that I'm bragging, that's their issue. I'm not rubbing it in because they don't know where I came from, right? And there's someone right now who's going to be hearing what you're saying. Tell them how they can get in touch with you. Tell them, the advantages of what, working with you directly can do. through your website because I was perusing through it and I saw a couple of free downloads and I downloaded a few of them. I don't care if it's for women or not. If it can help me, it can help. So, what
Yeah.
are some advantages with you?
So with me, definitely as a coach, you get knowledge, you get experience, you get know-how, and you get acceleration. That's one, and you get a dedicated person to say that you build a relationship with, to say this is where I am, this is where I am, and this is where I want to go. And we create this strategy. I'm a VIP strategist, which actually means we don't have a long drawn out time. I'm not teaching you things that you got to come back week and week and week after program, lesson. You giving me one day. And in that one day, we're going to give it all we got. And at the end of that day, you're going to walk away with a plan. So that's the same thing as I'm saying. I'm gonna give you the play. You just got to run the play. And but you got to be in it. Like the mindset has got to be in where I'm about to run this play because I can't stay here anymore. So those are the advantages of working with me as your coach. One, you get me. And that might sound, a little haughty, but you get the experience, the knowledge, the know-how, and the strategy that I come with. And everything that I've gone through, you don't have to go through to overcome. So let's skip some of the hurdles and let's get a jump start on where you want to be.
J1Qers, you are understanding something that most aren't if they're not listening to this. It is a necessity. Our mental health plays so much into our physical health, into our bodies.
Absolutely.
There's so much trauma, PTSD that I'm sure so many of us have that isn't recognized. We don't know. Go to the doctor, like Dr. Wright just told you. Go see someone because if you don't, it could become generational. Our children see it and then they start wanting to do it, and we've got to take care of ourselves. And I remember when I first started seeing Fubu, for an example, and it's something that I
Mm,
saw on one of your sites, and it kind of reminded me of that. And you say something about you wanted to like do things for us, buy us things that
that's
matter to us, right? We don't see representation in a lot of things,
right. Hmm.
but if so, the things that we do see, they aren't meant for us. So we have to
Hmm.
develop plans and skills that are dedicated to us. And it took me a minute to remember this name, but when you were talking a while back, the song popped in my head by Karen White, Superwoman.
Oh yes.
And I remember that song when I
Oh
was
yes.
young. I do this, I do that. You don't have to be Superwoman, and if you feel like you do, get some friends. One of the things that we've worked on here is there's like a core group of us, and we will exchange nights to babysit. So if you don't have a
That's good.
babysitter, hey, tonight's your night, 2 3 hours, you and your spouse, partner, whomever, y'all go out and enjoy, right? And then next week or sometime we'll switch it up. You've got to find a core.
Oh, that's good.
So, is there anything that I've missed? Anything else that you'd like to, say to some listeners out there who are feeling like they've got nowhere to turn, feeling like they don't have resources, feel like I don't know, I'm losing my mind right now. What's some last words you want to impart to them?
So I would say, one, find community, but find, if it's therapy, find someone who can relate to what you're going through. So representation matters. I'm a space creator. I create spaces for Black women because Black women are 100% Black and they're 100% women. I cannot separate either of who I am. So I need a space that acknowledges both. So find spaces that acknowledge both. If you need help trying to find someone in your area, DM me either on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, go to the website, send an email, whatever you do for contact. But let's create these spaces for you to heal. And lastly, sis, you don't have to be Superwoman. Take the cape off. It's okay to take the cape off and center yourself in your life.
Yeah, I heard a saying very similar to that, and it kind of moved me so much when someone said,
Mhm.
"It's okay to not be okay." I know
That's it.
we have come through so much through so for so long that you can't show emotions. You have to be strong. And I love how the tide of the generation is changing now that says, hey, mental health is okay to go see a therapist. We would be so afraid to even say I needed to go see a therapist, right? It was just, you need to go to church, you need to go see God, something. But sometimes we need a professional also to assist us as
That's right.
well, along with those other things. And I really appreciate you coming on for talking that and talking and letting these listeners and these ladies know that they're not alone. You are not
Absolutely.
alone out there. There is someone in your community. There's someone in your neighborhood. And if there's not, if that you feel, get on Google. Get on, they don't have Yahoo anymore, I don't think. They probably do. I don't know.
Yeah.
But get
But
on any,
Get on Google, get
get
on
on Google.
Safari, whatever
There
it
you
is you're
go.
searching.
That's right. It just put it in the browser and search.
Yeah.
I need help. Where can I start with something? Reach out, get on a phone call. Matter of fact, before today is over with, text a family member, text a friend, just someone, and just say, I was thinking about you. Someone who
Mhm.
you, don't be that analogy I use of the prom dancers. There are two people who want to dance, but they don't want to ask each other because they're afraid, right? Then you'll never get
Mhm.
to dance. You be the first one. Don't be the one that says, "Well, I don't text them or call them because they don't call me." No,
Mhm.
just give it a shot, right?
That's
Like
right.
Dr. Wright said, you need to get that friends. So I know you said the locations of where they can find you, but for the
Mhm.
listeners, can you spell it out for them so that way it'll be in the show notes for you guys as well. But some people, audio, they love hearing it.
Mhm.
I know it's a longer one. I'm gonna put it back up on the screen, but for the listeners, can you spell it out for them as well?
Sure. So the website where you can find me is Dr. Natasha Wright Consulting.com. DrNatashaWrightConsulting.com. Also on Instagram, it is I am underscore doctor dot Natasha W. And LinkedIn is Dr. Natasha Wright.
There you go. You didn't know that you were gonna have a spelling bee contest when you came. You got the
I'm glad you
choice.
put it on the screen.
I was like, I was like, that probably would help out because now I'm thinking you gotta be, what letters, transposing a letter or something. But I sincerely appreciate this, Dr. Wright. You have no idea because I am a supporter of anything that's positive. I believe
Mm,
that with the knowledge, we don't know what we don't know until we don't
right.
know. And
That's
then
right.
once we start finding out about this, and as we're talking, all I'm picturing is someone who is waking up for work, about to go to sleep, whatever, and they're just thinking there has to be something different. There has to be something better, but they just don't know, or they
Right.
don't have the guidance to say you need a coach. You do. Go grab one. Right, your pastor is your coach. You just don't know about it or think of
Hmm.
them in that way or whatever. Right, you're sitting in church sometimes, and he or she starts talking, and the first thing you start thinking is, are they talking about me? Man, that sounds just like me, right?
Hmm.
So grab a coach. I appreciate that. Dr. Ed, hold on for me for 1 second as I go ahead and do a little housekeeping and get some of these bills paid. And I'll be right back with you, okay?
No problem.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, oh,
Welcome
no,
to
wrong
Just
button.
One
Uh
Question.
oh, no, wrong button. See, I'm in me, whoever I am, I'm going to keep on doing it, right? So, let me get to the right one. Where's the right button? I got to start hiring some more people. Here we go. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to another episode of Just One Question. That podcast, like we say, that is dedicated to education, inspiration, and just kind of some form of guidance. I really appreciate you for coming here and stay tuned because we've got some more exciting guests coming up. Keep sending in your questions and your comments. We love seeing them and reading them. We may not read every last word, but I do read your sentences and I enjoy you all coming here because if you weren't here, I'd probably have no one to talk to. Although my wife would say I would enjoy that too much. So I thank you all for coming to another episode. And as I always say, keep living while you're alive.
Thank you for listening to Just One Question. I know you enjoyed the show because you made it this far. If you want to hear more, subscribe, share, and don't forget to give us a 5-star review. Now, what's your one question?